I just want to repeat one thing we've always said before, that the taking of the survey is part of your experience with the business.
I agree. Put as much attention to detail in that last touch point as you do in everything else. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Feedback Matters, the YouTube channel, podcast, and blog of Guest Insight. And specifically, we're going to be doing an episode of So You Want My Feedback, which is a series we've been doing over the last, I think it's 6-9 months, something like that, where we go through actual feedback asks from businesses that we encounter during our daily lives. Along with me today is my colleague, Rich Raffel. Rich, hello, welcome to another episode.
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Great. So today we're going to review the feedback ask of a restaurant that my wife and I went to fairly recently. It was part of a trip that we were on. We also stayed in 2 hotels on the trip and ate at a bunch of restaurants. And interestingly, you don't always get a survey ask from every restaurant you go to. I guess it depends on how you get in there, whether you walk in or you do a reservation online ahead of time or call for a reservation. So it's understandable when you don't get a survey for every restaurant you go to. But it was very surprising to us that one of the 2 hotels that we stayed at on this trip, we did not get a survey ask from. And it was a large hotel in a big city from a big brand, one of the biggest global brands that we've stayed at their hotels before and have always gotten surveys. And I dug into my emails. They definitely had my email address because they sent me other things prior to the stay and actually during the stay, just about different informational things, including my folio at the end after we checked out, but no survey request. So that was surprising.
I
But
got to
anyway,
ask, how long has it been since you checked out?
good question. It has been Saturday. It has been 12 days. No, it has been 10 days. 10 days since we
All
checked
right.
out.
So either one is way too long.
Too long.
I would
Correct.
give them, 3 to 5 days to get that survey out.
That's probably too long too.
And
The
that's
other
all. Yeah. I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt,
all
but
the other times that we've stayed in their hotels, as well as just about every other hotel, has been within 3 days, I would say.
yeah.
Usually the next day.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so today we're going to just talk about one of the restaurant experiences that we had. It was a restaurant in a hotel, not in any of the hotels we stayed at, just in another hotel. Um, a large hotel, pretty big restaurant within the hotel, and we booked the reservation through a one of the restaurant reservations booking sites. I know that you and I have gone through other restaurant surveys that have come through booking platforms, but we've never done one through that has been booked through this particular platform. Ground rules about our podcasts for people who are new here: we don't divulge the name of the businesses that are sending these survey requests, whether they're restaurants, hotels, or other businesses. We don't divulge the name of the survey company that's running it on their behalf, or the survey or reservation platform, because that's not what this is about. This is all about survey methodology and best practices. So that's rule number 1, basically. And then the second thing is that, as I mentioned, this is a podcast and both video and audio. So some people choose to only listen to the audio version. So for that reason, I will be sharing my screens shortly. I will read everything so that people who are not seeing anything can actually understand what's going on. So that said, I will put up my screen now. We will look at the email that was sent to me the day after we dined at this particular restaurant. Hang on. So here's my screen. This is the email that I received. At the top, it's from the name of the restaurant to me. A subject line is, "How was your experience at?" Name of the restaurant. And then the body of the email, the logo of the restaurant. Below that, it says, "How was your experience at the restaurant?" At the restaurant's name on April 25th. There are 5 outlined stars numbered 1 through 5. I assume that means that I'm going to click on whatever I deem whatever I think they deserve to continue. And below that, it says, "We appreciate your feedback and we look forward to seeing you again soon." Below that is contact information for the restaurant, their address, their phone number, a link to a map showing where they are. And below that is the name and logo of the reservations and survey platform, I presume, as well. Thoughts?
Okay. First question I have is this is the email. You clicked on the email. This is what you see.
Correct.
Okay. So, first impressions, very important. I love the 5-star scale because we're used to seeing that ridiculous net promoter 11-point scale.
Correct.
So this is good, makes sense. The only comment I have that I would suggest to them as a client would be to thank the customer for their business. Thank you for using our restaurant, and we'd love to get your feedback about your experience. Just a quick 2 or 3 liner, but I think it belongs, and I just think they should do that. It just makes it a better introduction.
I agree. I think that this is a great opportunity when, especially you're asking for something else of the guest. I think a thank you is warranted and
Yeah,
important and probably necessary. I mean, yeah, thank them for visiting, thank them
yeah.
for dining with you.
Just a
Yeah,
quick sentence or two
correct.
to open the survey. But
Completely agree.
otherwise, I like the interface. It's clean, just a little logo of the name of the restaurant, and I like it. The contact information is great, and not sure the usefulness of the map, being that you were already there, but whatever. That's I know we tend to nitpick a lot on these evaluations, but yeah, I like it. What do you think?
I agree. I agree with those points, and I'll comment on that part first. Again, this is not a pure survey company that's running this. Everybody tries to use every as an opportunity to sell. So I would imagine it's important to identify who and where you are, so that in case the guest doesn't remember, they go, "Oh yeah, that I remember being there," based on where it is, if they go to a lot of restaurants. But I think, to your point about the link for the map, is like
That
somebody gets this and said, "You know what? I had a great meal there. I'm gonna send this over to somebody else." It's an opportunity to recommend it to somebody and share the contact
okay?
information. I guess. I
Yeah,
suppose. Other than that, I don't know why a link to the map would be useful here.
it
I
doesn't hurt
guess.
it, but it's kind
No.
of not
It's
necessary.
not in
But
the way. It's done very
it's not in the way.
it's
It's fine.
correct.
It's fine.
Yes. Your point about, what they're asking here, it's 5 stars. It's in line with what everybody in the world is used to these days in the online review world, and looking at ratings and deciding on where to go for meals and hotels and even buying all products and even services. We're used to a 5-star rating system.
Yeah,
So, they're not explaining what the stars mean. It is labeled only by numbers in numerical order, 5 stars all the way on the right. And I think that's a convention that does not necessarily need to be explained anymore. So I'm okay
yeah,
with that. And yeah, it's a it's a scale that we're used to in terms of rating businesses. It's not a 0 through 10 likelihood to recommend scale that often is the first question that is asked in these types of surveys. Not always, but often we do see that.
yeah.
So yes, I prefer to see this too. Yes, clean interface, clean layout, no problem with it. So
And
I assume I'm going to click on one of those star ratings and it's going to take us to a survey. Go ahead. You were going to ask something?
I just agree with you totally that it wouldn't hurt it if the stars were labeled, but it's at this point in time, it's unnecessary, and it's clean, and everybody knows 1 is poor and 5 is great. So
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah, it's
fine.
fine.
Yep.
Okay, so I assume my task now is to click on one of those star ratings. It was a great experience, so it does get 5 stars for me. So let's see what happens. So
Okay.
click through, and sure enough, so it does go here it opens a new web page. Up top, it says your feedback is valuable to us. We like to be We like that positive reinforcement. And below that, we'd love to know more about your 5-star experience. And it has captured my 5-star rating. And they have actually captured it in the text above that, which is a nice little simple coding touch that you do not often see. So that speaks again to the nice, clean, simple, well-designed interface here. So I'm good with that too. Now below that, so that's the overall rating that I guess they're talking about, what capturing from the email itself. And then below that, there are 4 attributes where I am also going to rate on a 5-star scale. They've omitted the labels, or the number labels, I should say
Yeah,
here. So
that's
we're
all
all on
right.
the same page. Yeah, we know that 1 is not good and 5 is the best. So those attributes are food, drinks, service, and ambiance. Below that, we have one question: would you recommend us to a friend? We have a yes or no option there as the answer choices. And then below that, any additional feedback, question mark, and an open-ended text box where I can type whatever I want. And below that is just a submit button. Thoughts?
Well, you know what? The banner says your feedback is valuable to us. I love that. Nice and simple and clean, but a good reminder that what you're doing is appreciated by the business that you went to or stayed at. Well, this is just interesting. So you have the same 5-star options in the 4 attributes that you listed. It's just unusual that you have the opportunity to put a 1 or a 2 after giving all 5 stars. Overall, it's just I
Yeah,
don't know. It
yeah, that's a
it's
great
like
point.
awkward,
So
but it's like okay, but it's kind of awkward if somebody did answer ones and
yes,
twos.
so yeah, what would they do? What would they do with my survey if I rated food 2, drinks 1, service 3, ambiance 1, and I gave an overall 5-star? What is my survey invalidated? Would that be cleaned from the data set? I don't know. That's a very good point. The math may not always add up. Most likely, it's usually going to, I guess, most of the time, but it's a very good point. So that's a little bit of a methodology flaw, I guess we could call it. All right. What else?
I love the question after the recommendation question. Yes and no.
Yes, yes. Well, we
I
already
mean,
we already mentioned our good friend Net Promoter Score on in the email invitation that it wasn't there, and they've doubled down here, which we like
yeah,
by using the recommendation question in the format that we believe it should be. Would you recommend us to a friend? Yes or no? It is binary. You have dined at the restaurant. There should be no scale of likelihood to recommend applied to this question. It's a
right,
yes or a no.
right,
Certainly, there could be instances where it's not appropriate to go to this restaurant for different dining groups or for different occasions. But overall, in the context of a survey after a visit, is the dining establishment worthy of a recommendation if the person who is asking fits generally the client base that they're trying to
correct,
attract?
correct.
So yeah, we like to see this. Bravo to them for doing it the right way. And then the open-ended feedback, we always like to have open-ended feedback. It can describe in more detail the very simple attributes that they're asking about up above. It can possibly explain some discrepancies in the scoring that you did point out. And then that's it. And so the submit button, I guess, will be the end, but we'll see. But first, let's do all the ratings. So my math is going to work. So this was a great experience we had. The food was great. Yeah, it was great all across the board. It, full marks all around.
Good.
Would you recommend us to a friend? Absolutely would. Any additional feedback? Do this delightful dining experience, and I'll hit submit, and let's see where we go. Okay, so it says, thank you. We appreciate the time it takes to provide feedback. It shows me 5 now filled in gold stars, shows me what I wrote in the text box, delightful dining experience, and then there's a link that says copy review. Interesting. It's calling it a review. And what they didn't ask me for a review, they asked me for it was just
That's
additional feedback that they asked me for. That said, I like it because as you can see below, it says, please help us by copying and sharing your feedback on our other review pages. So uh, I guess my only issue here is the language that they're using. They're not referring to this as a survey. They're considering this an other review, right? They're referring to it as a review, but they've up until this page, they've never referred to it as a review. They've just asked us for feedback, right? So again, nitpicking language here. But I
uh,
do like that I can copy my comments. This is the functionality that we have in our own survey platform where people can use the open-ended text that they've already typed in a review that we can link our clients' surveys
okay.
to. Go
I
ahead.
I'm not as I don't like
Forgetting?
the I don't
Yeah.
like the word review as much as you're okay with it.
I'm only
Because
okay with it because I see it all the time and it's,
yeah,
I've
but
been
it
beaten
kind
down
of
a little bit.
shows the mentality that they're not looking for detailed feedback to improve their business. They're
You-
looking for reviews.
You're right.
And yeah, they asked you a couple of questions which you rated 5 stars on those attributes, but other than that, they're looking for reviews.
You're right, and I guess, reluctantly accepted that this is, we can't win over everybody, but compared to some of the other ones we've seen, I think this is okay.
It is
But you're
okay,
you're right,
and
you're right,
and
but to your point, because I'll click through and go to the Yelp site. I assume it's just going to go right to their Yelp page, which is fine. But they did ask us to rate different attributes, so they are getting more
yes,
specific
yeah,
information than sometimes you get. Some review sites actually do similar things, but at the end of the day, you are right here that they're marginally better than
they are.
the
I totally agree with that, and I'm also influenced by our restaurant page, even of our hotel survey gives you more
correct.
detailed feedback about specific aspects of the restaurant, and we do it simply and cleanly and just as fast. So they could have done a better job at getting better feedback. But like you said, it's not. We've seen a lot worse.
We have, to that point, the only thing I would say is that they feel it's good enough. If they want more, they want reviews, or they don't feel that it's necessary or worth any additional expense to do a more robust survey. That's their thinking, I guess, at this point. But
Understood.
anyway, I do like how they did thank us for the survey part of it. They still, to your point, have not thanked us for dining at the restaurant. And I do like this wording. We appreciate the time it takes to provide
Love the
feedback. It's
wording.
something, yeah, we do that up front, but I do like how they do it
Yeah,
here.
the word you're right about that. The wording is very good, showing
Okay.
you they understand you're committing time to this.
Yep. So let me just click the copy review link, and it does show copied. It's a similar functionality to what we do.
Okay.
And then if I click the review on Yelp button, it does just take us generally to their Yelp page.
Now,
And
is
then I can,
your wording already on the page, or do you have to
no,
copy it now?
no, it's copied. I clicked the copy link,
Right.
so it's on my clipboard of my
Right.
computer, and now I would have to click the write a review button on the Yelp page to
Okay.
paste it in there and either use it as is or add to it and edit it.
Right.
But so there is something interesting here I do want to point out. So you just said a few minutes ago they're very focused on reviews, right? Based on that language we just read on that last page, right?
Yep.
So this, as I said, a restaurant in another hotel, not one we stayed at, but is a very big hotel in it was Las Vegas. The hotel probably has 3,000 rooms in it and multiple dining venues. And this was a nice restaurant in this hotel. And my point here is, I'm taking very long to get to it, is, but you can see on the Yelp page how many reviews they have. It says they have 52 reviews, which is
That's
unbelievably
ridiculous.
small. There were three times that number of diners in the restaurant when we were there.
Jeff,
And
they
this
have more
restaurant,
photos of the restaurant than they do reviews. They have 82
they,
photos.
they do have 82 photos. Yes, they do.
That's
So,
crazy.
and it didn't open yesterday. I know that. So why is this? So I don't know. Is this survey system that they've put in place new? I don't know. It doesn't really make much sense to me. But the only thing I can say about this is that if reviews are all you're after, this is, so far it's not been successful, that this methodology that they're using to
Yeah,
get there is not working very well. And the bigger point, albeit they run a great restaurant, I have no complaints, so they're doing something right, but they're not getting adequate feedback to see where sometime down the line they may need to tweak things, because
right.
they're certainly not getting a lot of feedback
I'm
here.
very surprised to hear 54 reviews.
52, shocked. It's
52.
shocking.
I mean,
It's shocking.
the fact that there were 150 people in the restaurant that night and
Right.
over the years that they've been in business, I mean, they should have a ton more than 52 without the link to Yelp on their survey.
Yeah,
That,
it's just there's some sort of disconnect there. I don't know.
yeah,
I mean, and we always talk about the whole idea of, there are some folks who only look at reviews for feedback and don't do surveys directly with guests, not asking every guest for feedback and only relying what just happens to come in to the reviews. And while filling out surveys is self-selecting, certainly to some extent, online reviews are so much more self-selecting, on
right,
the self-selecting spectrum. So you have the people who are very happy, you have the people who are very unhappy, and then you have the people who are very into reviews, either because they're very into reviews, or they believe to pay it forward by helping others because they use reviews themselves. But
right.
certainly a large percentage of the dining population at any one restaurant, at any given restaurant or dining establishment, falls through the cracks and does not submit a review, especially if they're not asked to. So this is evidence of that, when such a large establishment that's been around for a while has so few reviews.
Yeah, unusual.
So I guess that'll do it for this particular episode of So You Want My Feedback. It was overall the wrap up, I guess. You correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, we like the layout. We have a few little, I guess the highlights were the clean interface, the simple, straightforward ask, the use of the right way to ask whether a business is worthy of recommendation, yes or no, versus net promoter score.
I just want to repeat one thing we've always said before, that the taking of the survey is part of your experience with the business. It just leaves you with a good taste in your mouth. It was clean, easy to do, and positive.
I agree. It's the last touch point of the overall experience. So
Right,
you should not leave on a sour note. You should put as much attention to detail in that last touch point as you do in everything else. I mean, I think the only thing that we would have liked to have seen, strongly would have liked to have seen, was the thank you for dining at the restaurant up
right,
front. That
right.
was missing, but overall everything else was okay.
Yeah,
You were a little harsher on the idea of using the review terminology, but it's the state of where we are right now in the world. So
yeah.
I'll give them a little bit of a pass there, but overall pretty
I don't
good. I would
disagree.
say pretty good. Yeah. So everybody, thanks again for watching, taking the time to watch or listen to this episode. Yes, we like to thank everybody. We'll be back soon with another episode. We will be following up with that deeper dive into Net Promoter Score. We did promise that on the last episode, so
We
we
did.
will be doing that. So thanks again for watching or listening. Rich, thanks for joining me again,
Thank you, Jeff. Thanks,
and
everybody out there.
we'll see everybody soon. Take care.
Bye.